Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of Fresh Ink. I'm Donnie Rollins to my left, Adam Johnson to my right, Griffin Sassano. And today, talking about a couple different sports. I know in the last episode we talked primarily football. We'll dial it in on football again, but we're going to bring a little bit of baseball into today's episode. We're going to talk autograph memorabilia. We're going to talk baseball autograph memorabilia, and then we're going to play 20 questions, and I think it's Griffin's turn to try to stump the Schwab.
Indeed.
Good. I mean, you have a good one in your head?
I think, we'll see if it ends up being good. I feel pretty good about it.
No notes. We see this, so hopefully
True.
You got this one wrapped up.
Hopefully you know this guy pretty good in your head.
I do.
All right.
I do.
We'll
See, like a neighbor with him?
You could kind of say that.
Okay.
You could say that.
Okay, there's a hint right there.
Chicago guy lives in Chicago.
That's what I need. He's from Chicago, yeah.
For sure.
So the first kind of topic that we want to get into, and kind of some of the helmets that are surrounding us today, are all multi-signed and dual-signed items. And the first thing we want to talk about is, what is the best sort of dual-signed item that you guys have seen or would like to see?
And we're talking helmets too, right?
Yes. For right now, right now we're talking about full-size football helmets. What's the best dual-signed, triple-signed, multi-signed item in terms of football helmets that you've seen?
Well, I'll start it off here, and this isn't... My pick here isn't because it's the best one I've seen. I think it's one of the most clever ones I've seen in a while. And it actually centers around a guy who's not even on the team anymore, but it was Amari Cooper and Derek Carr signing AC/DC helmets for the Raiders. I always thought that was super cool. I love it when, you can find a little bit of a theme amongst teammates. So I always loved when I would see the AC/DC inscription on those dual-signed Raiders. I thought those were super clever. Definitely not the coolest one I've seen, but I like it when they can throw in that little extra.
That's pretty cool.
Little,
like they put their
unique
nicknames.
inscription. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Griffin, what do you got?
Ooh, I don't know. I like being from Chicago. I mean, even though I think I've said I'm a Chargers fan, main Chargers fan, but I do support the Bears. They're my second favorite team. With like a Monsters of the Midway Bears with like Briggs and Urlacher. Maybe even throw like Tillman on there.
Defensive side. So kind of in general,
switch it up from the offense.
Yeah, in general, I mentioned like two teammates. So that theme around that would be kind of like one side of the ball. You know, so the defensive unit from the 2000s. Like you said, Urlacher and Tillman. I think you see a lot of dual sign, multi-sign, really, that have that Monsters of the Midway, that side of the ball theme. You see it with Buckus. Singletary and Urlacher, they all play the same position. That's another thing we see a lot when multi-signing items. It's the same position.
There's even
like team.
There's even like jerseys that are pre-made with their numbers on them.
Yeah,
that
are specifically made for that custom theme.
Yeah, those are cool jerseys. I love those. Put those in a frame. That's something you can keep for a long time, and they're super valuable because they are hard to get. It's hard to get those three guys on the same item. Mine. Actually, just had in my head. Completely forgot it. Adam, can you do another one? Because I just completely forgot the one I was going to say.
I like it to see when guys do the Heismans. I like the Heismans from the same school. Well, this one's a little more. This one's like a bunch of Heismans on one.
Not all of them. But
not all of them.
A lot.
It looks like it's a lot. There's a whole other half of the helmet that's not something.
One we see a lot nowadays coming through here is the Alabama guys, the two running backs, Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram. And Trent Richardson, I was surprised that he didn't win it, right? He must have got second that year.
Him and Eddie Lacy, I think.
I swear,
they were
Trent
Richardson. They probably
won,
were finalists, but
because I was looking at them, I'm like, why isn't Trent Richardson on this helmet? And no, he didn't win.
And neither of them panned out in the NFL, of course, but they both were excellent college running backs. So.
Yeah, and then you always see another common one is Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell on the Longhorns helmet. I think that's a cool one too. Growing up, I was always kind of lean towards the Longhorns. I think they always had cool helmets, the white with the orange Longhorn on there. That's a great one. I think there's a lot of guys coming up. If I had to pick one that I would want that I haven't seen yet, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray.
There you go.
And if you want to throw a little extra value on there, if you could argue if you really are, put Sam Bradford on there.
Ooh.
Sam Bradford.
3 number 1 overall picks and 3 Heisman winners. So that's a pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Do you think Bradford
also won?
Do you think Bradford hurts the value of the helmet there?
Yeah. At this point, yeah. No.
You think?
Maybe. Honestly, maybe. If you're a true Oklahoma fan, get them all in there, and you might as well get Jason White too. He was really a nobody in the NFL, but he's a Heisman Trophy winner as well. But I think for the average fan, me, I'm not an Oklahoma fan. I'm not a Browns or Cardinals fan. Yeah, it probably makes a little more, sought after.
Desirable, right.
Desirable. That's what I was looking for.
If you're an Oklahoma fan, though, that is a staple of your collection.
I
mean,
that's
guys.
what I mean. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything Bradford and Mayfield already. Not that you see a lot of Bradford now.
Right.
No, maybe you will a little bit more now that his career's kind of coming to an end. But yeah, Bradford was kind of a guy that I never really seen him out there. But
I remember the one I was going to say, one of the cooler ones that I've seen, and it was kind of like a history lesson for me as well. When we did a signing with Chris Carter earlier, there was a lot of people that sent in their items for the 3 deep wide receivers. It was Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Jake Reed.
Yep.
And I didn't know that was their nickname. I was relatively unknown to Jake Reed because I feel he was, a little overshadowed by those two guys.
Yeah, you can say that.
2 Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So
I honestly had never even heard of Jake Reed until you mentioned him just now.
Right.
I'd never heard of him.
he was part of the wide receiver, the trio there, and they were called 3 Deep, and it was from a Gatorade advertisement. I believe it was Gatorade, and they made this poster, and there's all 3 of them on the poster, and people actually had the original poster at the signing, and they got them signed by Reed and Carter because we didn't have Moss there, but they had gotten it signed by Moss in the past, and that's something that's really cool. It's a history lesson, and if you're a Vikings fan, that's again, it's like a staple of your collection. It's against the Bradford, and I would rather have Vikings players than Sam Bradford, don't get me wrong, but it would be a cool item to see those guys on an Oklahoma helmet nonetheless. But the 3 deep guys, I thought that was a pretty cool one, and one that I would like to see. Maybe some people may have it or not, but it's a Blaze helmet, so a Broncos Blaze with John Elway and Peyton Manning. And I think that would be that would be a really cool one.
I think that's too. I was kind of talking about themes. Teammates that have a unique inscription. One side of the ball being all defense, all linebackers. I think you see a lot of those dual sign or multi-sign items when it's the same team with that great position.
Yeah,
Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Manning, Elway, Luck, and Manning, guys like that. So I think that's a common time where you would see a multi-sign item when it's that same position for that great franchise.
It's kind of like an heir to the throne kind of thing.
Legacy
another good one is like the greatest show on turf. The Rams had all those. There you go. I beat
Marshall
you to
Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey
Kurt
Holt,
Warner,
and Kurt Warner.
The greatest show on turf.
Those guys,
it's cool.
When we do signings, they sign together a lot, and you don't really see. I mean, you see multi-sign items, but you don't see that a lot.
Montana Rice signed.
Montana Rice is one you see all the time. But again, teammates that were great together.
Right, that's one of the most famous duos in football history. But the greatest show on turf would be a really cool one. We haven't talked about the triplets. They're actually called the triplets when they sign together.
It's right there.
It's sitting right there, top right. But that's a good one. People chase that forever. I mean, if you have the triplets, people want that stuff.
I think it's Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin.
Yeah. Just high-powered offense over and over and over again is definitely one of the most classic trios in football history, if not the most recognizable one.
Yeah, I mean they dominated 80s, 90s football. That was America's team. Another thing I think you see is teammates, college helmets, and we got them right there, Chubb and Michelle, obviously same position, but, something as a Bears fan, I'm kind of working on is Roquan Smith, Leonard Floyd, Riley Ridley, all being Georgia Bulldogs as well. I think that'd be pretty cool to get them all on some kind of item, preferably a helmet. So I think anytime you see a lot of guys from the same college, I got a lot of people load those up too with signatures.
Right. I mean that's again, it's a collector's dream.
1985 Bears,
that stuff.
We go to the Chicago show, the Chicagoland Spectacular, and how many guys walk around with they're signing on the lid, the top where it looks like there should be a stripe, but there isn't. They're signing on that. They're signing behind by the warning label.
Right.
I mean, they're just loading those up because it's that team helmet. A lot of people chase that as well.
Right.
Kind of transitioning, or not even transitioning, to play off your point, you could get a Jarvis Landry Odell LSU helmet before probably.
Yeah, 100%.
Now you can get a Jarvis Landry Odell Browns helmet.
How cool would that be?
It's only a matter of time before there's a Browns helmet that's hydroed or dipped or that's LSU. I mean, it wouldn't even be hard. Just literally it's orange and yellow, put a stripe down the middle, 50-50, and then duel them. That'd be sweet.
That'd be sweet. Cool. That would be really good. Yeah. That was going to bring me my next.
Or the LSU ripping through the Browns. Someone would do something nasty with that.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's.
There's endless possibilities, especially with those guys since they have so much flair and stuff. You have to live up to the expectation of the player. I think when you get a helmet signed with both those guys, both flashy, they both dress kind of exotic. We saw Odell Beckham's outfit at the Met Gala.
Trendsetters.
Exactly.
Just cut the sleeves.
Cut the sleeves. Cut the shorts.
Yeah, cut the jorts.
Walk down the red carpet. carpet there. Quickly before we move on, I did change my clothes for episode 5.
did.
I don't have blue
You
sweats.
shed them. You shed the. Oh, okay. You
I don't have blue sweats. I have gray sweats on today.
Okay.
No vest, so I'm feeling a little off.
It's getting warm.
Starting to get a little warm. I was supposed to say, starting to get a little warmer out. We'll take it.
Thank you. I feel off though. Something doesn't feel right.
We'll have to. That was your uniform. That was
Yeah.
your
We'll be all right.
superstition.
So moving on, one thing quickly before we move into the baseball talk, because baseball's hot. This helmet here signed by 3 classic Redskins. You got Theismann, Williams, and Ripon on there. So
and why are they signed all together?
because they're
Testing you here.
Super Bowl champions,
Correct.
2 of them Super Bowl MVPs.
That is correct.
So
Quarterbacks.
yes, all 3 quarterbacks. So here's my question to both of you. This might stump you a little bit. What does, if not, create this whole legacy thing? What does Dwayne Haskins have to do to get his name on that helmet, and does it make sense?
For it to make sense.
For it to not make sense.
For it to make sense, does he have to? He obviously has to win a Super Bowl.
Got to win a Super Bowl.
He's got. That's probably be
honestly,
the
if we're
MVP.
talking about the Redskins here, I think he just has to make it 2 seasons, and then he's
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
clearly, looking at this helmet, they had a once storied history in
Dynasty
Washington.
Right.
Type. All jokes aside, you got to make it to the Super Bowl. Those guys earned it. They're Super Bowl MVPs, Super Bowl champions. If you're the quarterback of a Super Bowl winning team, you don't get there by accident. People say that, Trent Dilfer was carried by the Ravens. No, he wasn't. Sure, the Ravens were great around him, but no quarterback is carried to the Super Bowl. You still have to have some talent. So, I think you got to make a Super Bowl, and right now I think he's got a lot of work to do with Washington. It might be a little bit before we even consider that, but yeah, you don't deserve to be on there.
So you think he just needs to make it to Super Bowl in order to be on that?
Well, no,
I think he's got to win it.
They're
I think he has to win it. All 3 of those guys won one. 2 of the 3 were MVPs of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hold him to a little bit of higher standard. And I think he holds himself to a higher standard.
Right. I agree with you.
Judging off of what we've heard about him as a person. He's kind of out there. He's kind of cocky. He believes in himself. There's nothing wrong with that. But now he's got to back it up on the field.
Sure.
You look at all of the great players that had huge egos. The most of them did back it up on the field, right? Terrell Owens.
That's what I was going to say.
Antonio Brown's been doing it. We'll see if he can do it with the Raiders. Probably not, hopefully. I think he's got to win a Super Bowl. I think he needs to win a Super Bowl to be on that helmet. And if he can bring life to the Redskins and make them contenders again and go to the playoffs consistently, that'll be great for their fan base. Be happy about it. But in order to get on that helmet, to live up to those 3 guys, he's got to win a Super Bowl.
That'll be tough too. You got the Eagles and the Cowboys in that division. It's not going to be easy. They've got a long way to go.
And after
Don't
the
forget
season
about the
last
Giants.
year,
Remember, you guys were on Daniel Jones.
I'm so high on Daniel Jones.
He was. You were
I can't wait to watch him throw the pigskin around this
Honestly,
year.
I don't hate the Daniel Jones over Haskins. The more we watch it, I don't hate it.
There was a video on Twitter of Daniel Jones in his first highlight tape, and it was all 3-yard passes to the running backs, and they were like, "Watch Daniel Jones in action."
It's so easy to know Brady. He's going to get his receiver schemed open for him all the time.
Sure.
If you give a 3-yard pass to Barkley, and
that's
he
all you
takes
gotta
it
do.
92 yards, that's a 92-yard passing touchdown.
I can't wait till we hear the whoa, I feel so bad for Saquon Barkley narratives this year when the Giants
you don't look back at Brady and be like, oh, he threw, how many yards? It was how many of them were extended by yards after contact?
By Welker,
by
Gronk.
Even going back to Kevin Falk when he was the first ring he ever
Patriot,
had.
Patriot Hall of Fame.
Gronk just shrugging people off like tacklers, they're just
don't turn the ball over. You're successful.
So basically, what we're saying here, and this might be a stretch, but Daniel Jones is the next Tom Brady per se.
Yeah, I think.
Basically, from what the evidence you just gave me, Griff.
In terms of if we're just talking passing styles, and if he can get his receivers schemed open for almost 20 years,
I'll go on record.
See.
I'll vouch for that.
Daniel Jones. You heard it here first. Yeah. Episode 5, Fresh Ink.
I got nothing to lose.
Daniel Jones. Yeah, there's not much going for me, so I'll put that on my resume right there. So there's a little bit of the football talk. Multi-sign helmets are always something really cool, and when you see a guy with this collection of a bunch of multi-sign helmets, that guy's got a nice collection.
Oh yeah,
so
they're
something.
Not cheap.
Yeah, no, not at all, and it takes time.
Multi-sign helmet do you want? That you?
Well, I talked about the Oklahoma one. I don't really want that.
You talked about the Bears one too.
Yeah, I'm a Bears guy. Like I said a million times, I'm a Bears guy. I'd like to do something with the current Bears offensively. Defensively too. Get Khalil Mack on there. Floyd Smith.
Hot ticket.
I want a Daniel Jones, Tom Brady.
You want to? No, seriously though. Who
No,
do
that's it.
Really?
I don't know
No
what
way.
helmet.
On the white Hall of Fame helmet.
Yeah, white Hall of
already,
Fame.
just black Sharpie.
Boom.
Yeah.
DJ, sign it up for me. I'll
Nice.
take it.
I mean, for me, being a Chargers fan, I think growing up with Gates, Tomlinson, Rivers,
that'd
having
be-
all three of those dudes on a helmet.
Yeah,
for
that's
me
like
would
the.
I mean, I already love my Tomlinson, but getting those up two other guys.
That'd be like the Charlie Joyner, Winslow,
Fouts.
Fouts
Dan Fouts.
2.0.
Yeah,
Super
except
helmet.
you substitute LT because he's running back,
True.
and then Winslow's tight end, Joyner was wide receiver,
Yeah.
and then Gates tight end. The Chargers didn't really have. I mean, until now they didn't really have the greatest receivers when Rivers was there earlier, and they had
true.
Vincent Jackson, but he never was on the team long
Yeah.
enough to earn.
Tomlinson, you could argue, is basically the receiver.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, he
does
did
all.
everything
The
for
guy's
the
Gates, Gates too.
yeah.
He was a freak.
So
yeah.
would you like that, or would you? How about a LaDainian Tomlinson, Melvin Gordon dual sign item?
For me, Melvin hasn't done enough yet to warrant being on a helmet with LT. I mean, that guy is top 5 greatest running backs of all time. I mean, Melvin Gordon he certainly could get there one day. I mean, he hasn't really been the most durable,
Right.
Yeah.
I want to say. So I would hold off on that until he makes a couple more. Or at least, I mean, I don't think he's made a first-team All-Pro team yet. He's made a couple Pro Bowls, but I mean, we're talking LaDainian Thompson was the best running back in the league.
Yeah, it's hard to live
during
up to.
his time.
Right.
You know,
I just think
So-
it's a cool thing,
Yeah.
current guy with an old school. It's like the hair to the throne thing, like we talked
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
I'm pretty
I
sure
mean-
I've seen a Melvin Gordon LT dual sign, but if it were me as a Chargers fan, I would hold off on that because I don't think Melvin Gordon is really anywhere
not
near.
quite there yet.
So
LT,
would you
yeah.
rather have the dual sign, or would you have 2 separate helmets?
Oh, 2 separate helmets for sure.
okay.
Oh yeah,
Takes up a lot of space in the back.
I know. I just don't think Gordon is quite there yet to
Sure.
be next to.
Actually, you know what? Now we're
LaDainian
talking about this.
Tomlinson.
I would no joke want a Trubisky in color. I love color. People hated color. I love color.
I mean, he is the Bears' best quarterback of all time in terms of statistical, accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he beat Sid Luckman in a lot of
I mean,
categories.
this is a little off topic, but the color is that's my guy.
It's not
Him and
Rex
Trubisky
Grossman?
are my 2 guys.
Rex. I mean, Rex did take him. to the
Right, I
Super
put
Bowl.
him on there too. I
Righteous
like
Jim
Rex.
McMahon? Isn't
He's
Jim
before
McMahon
my
take.
regarded? If you asked a Bears fan in terms of best player, take stats out of it, best quarterback of Bears history, wouldn't you say Jim McMahon because he was a Super Bowl winner? I mean, I don't know.
There's not a lot to pick from.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sad part. Like, we can have the best Bears quarterback ever helmet and be like, oh, that's okay. That's not-
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to you, Adam, you're like, whoa.
I think it'll be
Trubisky.
Trubisky
Bring
when
that
it's
up.
all said and done. But I'm a Chicago bias, so I was also a color fan. So
Yeah.
don't ask me.
Right now, Cutler's more popular than he's been in a long time.
He's cool.
Being
I
on
like
TV.
him.
And
I like him.
so that's it for the football chat. So we're gonna get into a little bit of baseball stuff. I talk a lot about collecting memorabilia on this show. So my question to you guys today is, if you can collect a specific baseball item, it could be balls, it could be bats, helmets, bases. We've seen bleacher seats. What would be the one thing you would collect? If it could be one thing, it can be one thing consistently throughout the board. What would it be, and why? So
I just so I don't kind of alienate position groups. I guess if you go bat, we're gonna go hitter. If you go helmet, it's gonna be hitter. Baseballs. I think there's just something about getting a baseball sign. You're at the ballpark, or however you get your autographs. There's something about getting a signed baseball that is just. It feels like that was once part of the game, and you get a pitcher on a ball, you get a hitter. It doesn't matter. So it's a universal kind of. I want to say it's the most popular form of baseball autograph. You get a ball sign,
Right.
You get a black pen or a blue pen.
Yeah, blue
Right?
pen. Blue pen is the way to go.
Blue pen,
in my
yeah.
opinion, I like
Okay.
mine. All my ones have blue pen, not black. Yeah, my biggest pet peeve is when you're looking at stuff for sale or at shows, auction sites, and you see it signed in black marker. It's like, don't sign it in marker.
Yeah.
People think signing in Sharpie's good, which I mean in the sense of it looking good. It looks
Sure.
fine, but it looks
Yeah.
so smudgy. And pen's the way to go. Nothing that bleeds too. Just a nice solid ink pen that on a brand new baseball, it looks perfect. Put it in a display case, UV protect it, make sure it doesn't fade. It's easy. And transitioning to that's what I would do too. I collect baseballs already. Helmets are cool for me, but it kind of goes back to your point too, where it's like, do I really want Tom Glavine on a batting helmet? No, it doesn't really make sense, but it still looks cool. They look awesome signing it on the brim and that, silver paint pen or whatever you want to use. They look awesome, but considering I collect so many full-size helmets, baseballs are so easy. You can have 40 baseballs, and they have so many display cases now to where you can just throw them up there, and it only takes up a quarter of one wall in your house. Baseballs are the way to go too, and I love it too because if you're invested in a player and he gets traded, he's on a baseball. I mean, there's no logo on the baseball, so that ball is timeless. That ball always carries through with him through his career. I mean, so many times we see Le'Veon Bell. So many Pittsburgh stuff. You love the Steelers, but now he's on the Jets, and you hate the Jets or whatever.
So Michigan State stuff will always be.
Yeah, so that kind of goes to like the college way. It's like baseballs are timeless. No matter what they do. It's an easy way to get it, and they're the easiest ones to sign. You can get them signed in person.
Yeah, you can bring a baseball to the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're easy. If you're in these Facebook groups or auction sites, they're easy to ship. They're cheap to ship. So that's an easy way to start a big collection of baseballs. Like I said, I'd love to get into helmets, and jerseys are awesome too. I collect jerseys across multiple sports, but again, that adds up. You got to frame them. That's expensive. You only have so much wall space in your house. As a baseball collector, baseballs are the way to go. Bats are good too. I think bats are not too much room, and they're not too expensive. Where a lot of them turn out good. They're also timeless, like a baseball. I like bats.
What would you recommend to sign a bat with?
It depends on the bat. I mean, I think if you get like a blonde, they call it the blonde bat. The white, yellow type wood. It depends. I've seen Sharpie. I've seen paint pen. The metallic, there's a really cool, I think Maltall makes it. It's like a metallic, liquid chrome is what they call it. If you get a black bat, you sign it in liquid chrome. I mean, it looks like it was stamped on the bat. It looks really good. I've seen people do like colored markers. That looks really cool too. But if you're doing like a blonde bat, black Sharpie usually, I believe. I can't remember last time I got a bat signed, but black Sharpie is usually pretty reliable.
Adam's our go-to guy for everything you need signed. Yeah. What brand?
Well, I mean, that just shows you
color.
That just shows you how the industry's changed so much. I can't even remember last time I got a bat sign.
Right.
I don't even. I'd have to test it. I don't even know if a Sharpie would be the best one. But just off the top of my head, I think I would go with Sharpie. I know for sure on a black one, you use a silver paint pen. Black, you can go either way. So
I remember one of I think it was a Chicago Sports Spectacular we were at. We saw Frank Thomas. A bunch of black bats with that silver.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
Silver liquid chrome.
Really good.
Yeah.
David Ortiz, I think, was the last one that I did. We did liquid chrome on him, and that looked really good.
Yeah, I would personally go for bats because I like what you said about that being part of the game. I would want like game used bats. I would want a game used bat collection because that was actually in the athlete's hand,
right?
And then he signed it, knowing like, oh, I used this bat in a game and I want it like dated and everything. My collection is going to be extravagant when I have the disposable funds to make it extravagant.
It's not even the funds; it's the room,
right?
To put it all.
Those get a little bit.
I mean, it's
spacey.
Yeah, it's so you start to get piled on, and it's like you kind of have to step back and go, oh my God, you sell a couple of these things off just to make room for the rest of the new stuff.
Right,
it's wild.
I think game used bats would be really cool, especially when it's dated and when it's got the branding on there, what his name is, because sometimes you look at a signature and you're like, who is that guy? Right. Especially on a baseball that you've had for a long time. If it doesn't come with a certificate of anything, you could be like, who's that? But if it's a game used bat, it's got his name right on there. It's perfect for display. I think it's really cool. If not bats, I would do jerseys because I like the frame jerseys. I'm a big fan of frame jerseys, and that they just look fantastic on a wall, especially if it's a guy you're super close with.
Now that they have like the Father's Day, the Mother's Day, the Memorial Day,
All-Star Game ones are pretty sweet every year.
Right.
There's so many cool different variations to where if you're a huge fan of one player,
I was just gonna say,
Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, it's my guys. You can load up those walls with a bunch of different variations of jerseys. So that's another cool way to keep a collection. And jerseys aren't too bad for the most part. I mean, you can get them retail price for around $100, and then how you get them signed, that's up to you. But another one that's not bad at all. I wanted to ask you guys a question. What's your opinion on getting like cards, like baseball cards signed? Do you think that's something you would do, or is that so much where it's like if I'm getting a card signed, I'm leaving it up to Topps and Panini to get me that card signed? Yeah. I don't value that card as much. I would have rather got X signature on this item as opposed to a card that's a waste or whatever.
I think personally I would rather have him sign something I can like hold and feel rather than a card. I know we talk about all the time like the on sticker autographs,
right?
But those still are signed by the player and they're stamped on the card by a professional company. I would rather have them do it. In terms of me going up to a player with a card, I would probably lose it in the stadium. I mean,
it's the signature of what they normally do.
It's tough to read once you get it done. I wouldn't know what pen to put on there. If I only had a black Sharpie, it might bleed right through the card.
True.
So I would ruin the whole thing just by trying to get them to sign it. But it's a good question. I mean, I see people send in cards all the time, and they like the on-card autographs. That's probably why. I mean, a lot of people stray away from the sticker autos because they don't think it's as valuable. But at the same time, I mean, it's still the autograph from the player.
I think it's a little more old school. The people who, when we do signings, send in the cards, it seems to be a little more of like the 80s guys, the 90s, early 90s, cards. Kind of the older cards where, our generation, the younger generation, we're more used to like, oh, that's a beautiful on-card through Topps, through Panini.
And a lot of things that the new companies do is they designate space in their cards for the athletes to sign them. If I had an older card, I would just have them sign it right across the middle, and it might look all clumped up.
It might be all right if you're signing, nowadays everything's glossy. They don't have that paper stock anymore. It's like, if you're signing a Stadium Club card from Topps, it's like those things are so glossy, and Bowman, they're chrome, and you can't sign that. So, I would stay away from cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you guys. For me, I want something that I can kind of like you said, hold, feel, also like display.
Yeah.
So for me, full size helmet, LaDainian Thompson, I have it literally sitting on the top of my bookshelf right now.
Yeah, it's sick.
The main piece of the living room. My apartment. My two roommates like it. I mean, big football guys.
Nice.
You love the Chargers. Blackout helmet. So cool. And one of them was a Panthers fan. One was a Bears fan. So
wow. So that's quite the diversity.
Something I can display, like a card. You get it signed. Like you said, it could bleed through. But then also, what do you throw in the binder?
Right.
Something cool that I had growing up was like this really big sheet that you could put on a wall and just stick a bunch of cards in it.
Yeah.
And I put a bunch of football cards in it. Nice. So maybe that would be a way to display your cards if you're looking to do something that's not in a binder. It's really just like a huge 6x6 or 5x5 or whatever, how big it is, but it's just a huge card sleeve that you just stick on the wall.
I always worry about that too, where it's like even some of these, once you get through Topps Panini, when you put them in that penny sleeve, when you put them in that top loader, it's like, it's touching the autograph, which I'm sure is fine. I haven't been around long enough to see a total decline in some of the signatures I've obtained. But I put them right in the penny sleeve, right in the top loader. But if it was an on-card and, you're putting it right up against a piece of plastic, it's like, man, is that going to fade? Is that going to wipe? What's going to happen to that in the long run? What's going to happen with the chemical reaction of the card? Yeah, so I would always go with the baseball route, go with the bat route, because you know how it's going to end up.
Right.
Cards I've always thought to be very tricky.
Well, if you get a pre-signed card like you guys are talking
for
about,
sure.
that's cool.
Right. They know that stuff's solid. It's been dried. I mean, they have the stickers that they put on and they let them sit, and those look cool too, don't get me wrong, but on-card autos from Topps or Panini are awesome.
We'll leave it to the experts when it comes to signatures on cards.
On cards, because they do that stuff for stuff. But it's a good question, Adam. I like that you came up with that. So I think that's it for baseball chat. So we've talked about football, talked about baseball. Time to play our favorite game. Ooh, this is your first time coming with us here. We play 20 questions where we have to ask yes or no questions to the person who is hosting the game for this week. And this week it's going to be Mr. Griffin Sassano. Griffin, do you have the athlete in your head?
I do.
Nice.
You guys already kind of were like, oh, is he your neighbor? I'm like, kind of was my neighbor.
You're throwing us off the scent. I'm not going to fall for that.
I don't know. I think you guys will pick up on that later. We'll see.
Because we've had a couple, 2 football, a basketball, and a baseball.
Baseball guy,
Number 5.
And we've only had one stump so far, and that was Adam with Jimmy Fredette.
Dude, that was a good one. That was a really good one. Because you had me thinking draft, and I was thinking current draft, not like
I'm still mad about that.
2010 draft. Was it, 2011?
2011, yeah.
That's not that current. It's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's true, actually.
Now I think 2019, you don't think it's that late.
Still mad about that.
All right, start us out.
Is he a baseball player?
Indeed he is.
Oh, I had a feeling. I don't know why, but I had a feeling.
Time. Okay.
All right.
So, one question?
Is he National League? Was he National League? Was he National League?
Okay, so...
He played for both?
Yes. He was on teams in both the...
Okay, that counts.
Yes.
We'll use that.
So he was on teams in both the AL and NL.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Konerko was in both.
Paul Konerko did. Did you go Paul Konerko again?
Okay.
That would suck. That would be terrible.
That's tricky. Okay, that's actually really good, because that's going to really
is he current?
No.
Okay, old guy.
Not currently playing.
Did he play a majority of his career in the 2000 to 2010, 2009?
No. He No.
Okay, so
No.
he's
older.
90s.
Well,
He didn't play.
listen.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. He had a long career.
He didn't play a majority of his career.
Ooh, gave us a good hint.
So he
there
might have
with the long
played
career.
4 years, but the majority of it might have been in the 90s. Like, could be like.
He had a long career.
So he could have played 10 years in the 90s and then like played like 01, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
I'm on
Or
to,
past.
I'm on to your scent, Griffin. I want to say, did he play for? I think I have an idea.
No.
I have an idea.
Okay, we're at 3 questions. So
Can I go ahead and take a shot at who I
you
think
can't
it
guess
is?
the player. Like your name, the name you guess is like that's like your final guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like
That's like how 20 questions work.
yeah, it's like you can't guess. Just
Yeah. Well, I
names.
was
If
feeling
he-
a little promiscuous. Did your player play for the New York Mets?
No.
There goes my guess.
Okay.
Good thing I didn't guess the name.
Did he play a majority of his career in the 90s? This guy played for 35 years.
Oh my god,
He
dude!
didn't play a majority of his
I'd say
who is this guy?
It's probably like pretty evenly split between the 90s and
Okay,
the
so
2000s.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he started
So
probably
it's
early
50-50.
'90s.
You could have said no. I'd be like, oh,
Oh, shit.
I was
totally
so mad.
stumped.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
So
I think you guys are at what?
That's like five
That's
questions.
five,
5?
All right, so we have nothing so far. Baseball
So
player,
90s,
NLAL, 90s into 2000s. Played for a long
guess
time.
positions. Was he outfielder, infielder,
Was he? I'm gonna go.
pitcher?
Was he an outfielder?
No, he was not.
Was he a pitcher?
No, he was not.
Was he?
Do we say catcher as part of the
Yes,
infield?
True.
yes.
Oh,
For the
okay,
sake
got
of
it.
the sergeant catcher as part of the
All right.
infield.
So I was gonna ask, is he an infielder? So that was a resounding yes.
That's
That was a quiet yes.
Given.
So we're at what, 9 questions,
Say
8 questions?
8 questions.
Okay.
and we got. He was an infielder in the 90s into the 2000s. He played both in the AL and NL and had a long career. This is a pretty good one. Did he play in the AL East?
He did.
I have
Wait, no, he did not. He did not.
Come on. I was on. for a
Did he
second.
play for over 3 teams?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Did he play shortstop?
No.
There
So
was my
that's
guess right there. That's like 3 more
11
questions. Yeah.
11.
So he's.
I don't know why I was thinking he was a shortstop. I just like put that in my head. The last
Yep.
2 questions, he was a shortstop.
I was thinking.
Did he play third base?
No.
I don't know. A catcher for that long of a career?
12.
Oh, I mean, Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah. Ooh.
Not Pudge Rodriguez.
Well, I didn't
That doesn't
guess.
count.
He was more than 3 teams, but
True. Did he play for the New York Yankees?
he said he's
No.
in the AL East.
That's 13.
Well,
Okay. Did he win a World Series? Because this can narrow it down.
don't
for
make
me.
No.
face.
Okay. That would narrow it down to
My
like
thinking
teams.
face.
That's a
dude.
terrible
Am I
thinking face.
Shoot. Okay.
It's a hard thinking.
Yeah, I noticed.
Let's get the
outta here.
position. So he's not a short third.
Not a cat. Not
So
a.
you have 6 questions left.
Damn.
We didn't confirm if he was a catcher, did we?
All right, you want to ask that?
I just told you it wasn't Pudge Rodriguez.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't know if it's a catcher.
So? Okay, wait.
Ask away.
Should we ask if it's a catcher? Can we waste a question on that? Griffin, was he a catcher?
No.
Okay. We have first or second base.
5
Five guesses
questions
from the 90s to the 2000s.
Okay. We could get. Okay. Wait, I think we can do this. Was he first baseman?
Yes.
I was thinking that.
All right. So
I was thinking that like 8 questions ago.
Get the division, then we could probably get the team, maybe.
All right.
And then
All right.
a good
Are we
one from the
thinking-
90s to 2000.
East. NL East?
No, it's not the NL East. He didn't play in the NL East. So it's
Oh.
How do you know?
He said
Oh,
AL.
yeah, yeah,
Remember,
yeah,
I said
yeah,
no, he
yeah,
did not
okay,
play in
all
the
right.
AL East. AL.
Shoot,
Let's get
I
the
forgot
lead.
he-
Let's
I
get the
forgot.
lead straight.
I forgot.
I'm thinking NL East all day here.
You have
All right,
5
first,
questions.
First base.
He played. Did he play in the. You know what, dude? You know who it might be? NL Central?
Okay, just go for it.
That didn't give it away who it
A lot
was.
of good first basemen.
So
in
5
there.
Right, I'm
questions
thinking
left.
NL Central.
Try it.
Did he play in the NL Central?
He did not.
This is the worst game I ever played.
AL West.
AL West? No.
Come
3
on.
questions
3
left.
questions left?
So if you guys have the divisions, you might as well just try to get.
Damn it.
3 left. 3 left.
He did play in the NL East.
So he would have had to play in the.
But he
AL.
played for 3
No,
teams.
now he would have to play for the AL Central because he played in both leagues but didn't play in either one. So
Oh.
AL Central first baseman.
That's good. Hale Central first baseman for over 20 years.
Jim Tomey.
Yes. Holy shit. You just got it. Oh, my
Wow.
So you did 2 White Sox back to back.
No, for the Indians and the Phillies.
Yeah.
And then
Wow, you just-
played on the White
you just
Sox in
guessed
like
that.
the mid-2000s for like 3 years.
That was zero help. He did. We did win a World Series.
No,
was he on the White
yeah,
Sox?
he
He was
won
after.
one?
He was
Wow.
after. They got him the year after.
Huh.
2007.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, that sounds right actually.
What?
Yep.
I know. I feel like you
We're
group him in there too
snubbed.
because the DH for the 05 was like Carl Everett, Jermaine Dye.
Yep.
Konerko
Yep.
played a little bit of DH.
Jermaine Dye didn't play right all the time.
No, he did play right all the
did,
time,
yeah.
but like he
was older.
one of the guys.
On that team.
He came the year after.
Yes, he did.
That's
Was
good.
Frank Thomas, was he still around that team? I think he was like hurt.
I want to
for-
say
maybe not.
he was like an icon and didn't really play much on that 05
he was, like,
team.
hurt
You know,
the
just
whole time.
win it for Frank. Just
Because
you
he
know.
played for the Blue Jays and the A's after.
Yeah.
that. And like I think he made the All-Star team with the Athletics.
Believe it or not,
Wow.
I used to be
That was a good
huge
guess.
Frank Thomas fan when I was younger and was like kind of like a Cubs White Sox like duel, and then they let Frank Thomas go, and I was like, how could they ever do that? And
Yeah,
I was like,
I was
10 years
thinking,
old.
I was thinking first baseman who played in both, and then I can't get me.
I was thinking Mark
that was
McGwire.
awesome. You literally pulled that out of your.
Can't
you know
get
what?
me.
That was
You can't get me,
So-
man.
wow.
Childish.
I'm too
Nice.
Yeah, I had you, but you.
Oh, I had no clue. I guess the Yankees after he said no ALEs.
All right, I'll take it. I'm undefeated, so
How are you
Wow, props to
undefeated
you.
in a
That
game
was-
where we play as a
I'm
team?
literally undefeated because you didn't get mine either.
You
so-
guys literally got it by like
Suck.
process of elimination. You guessed every single division he didn't play in.
Yeah, that's 20 questions for you.
That's how it works.
Totally.
That was good. That was a good guess.
Until next time.
Yeah, that's all she wrote for this episode. That was episode 5 of Fresh Ink. Thank you guys for watching. We want to see some fan interaction for the next one. We had a couple of questions for episode 4. Want to see some more for episode 6?
Yep,
Please send in some
definitely.
pictures, ask some questions, whatever you guys are thinking. We want to hear it. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.